So I think I'm ready. You guys ready? Should be pretty quick and easy, I'm hoping. So first things first, I guess everybody know logging up 21 online, at least, right? Usually that's where it'll be. You don't need your computer right now. It should be straightforward to follow along. You'll see the options. ToolkitCMA, and I know you guys know, and Jonathan and I were talking earlier, Cloud CMA, right? That's also, you guys also have access to through FMLS. And Debbie and I talked about it earlier. She showed me the other one from NAR. It's like an AR or PR or something like that. Oh, pretty cool. They'll have their own different things to them, if you will. One of the cool things that I saw from the NAR one was like the flood maps and stuff. So really depending what you're trying to do, or if you like certain aspects from different ones, you could technically grab little pieces here and there and make your own. But back in March at the global conference, they told us about ToolkitCMA, and they had just released it to everyone in Century 21 for free. So this is technically a paid service, but once again, it's for free. They already have everything set up for every agent across the board. It's pretty neat, cool to have, and you can still do comparables in there, but it's got a lot of presentations and it lets you do flyers really easy too. So if you don't want to go into Business Builder and edit all that stuff, you basically just choose a template here. If you have the MLS ID or FMLS ID rather, just drop it, load some pictures, and you just say, ooh, put the pictures here, and it's pretty much done. So I'll show you guys all that. It shouldn't take too long. If you do have your computer, or have you activated your account?
No, it still says activate. So
okay, no. So I'm just real quick, just to show you guys what the activation screen is like, just so you can see it. I'm gonna hit it. So once you log in to 21 Online, it should be smack dab in the middle of your screen. It's not under tools yet up here like they typically are. So you gotta click access ToolkitCMA. So you can go ahead and click that. I don't know if I set mine up already. I was hoping I had.
I got a welcome page.
Yeah, so the first page should probably be to agree to terms, conditions, whatever. But then once you do that, you'll see this screen. Let me. Okay. So all it is you just fill out the information. That way it auto-populates whatever you put in here into the CMA. So I mean, just should be your office stuff. Your title here is where it gets a little confusing because you probably want to put realtor in there, but you probably want to put agent or sales agent or something because the realtor part goes under this drop down, just FYI. So all you do is do that. Okay. So yeah, agent, or for title, just put like agent or something, make sure everything else is correct, and hit save. That's all you do on the screen. So questions on how to activate? I don't know. So let me drop out of that. Pull over.
So I just back out of this. Sign out.
You might see if you scroll up now to the top left, it probably says home or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna fill this here. So this is what it'll look like with yours. It should already feed your picture from Crest in here. And if you wanted to change your information, if you messed up your cell phone number or something, you can just go to preferences and change it later. But this is the interface. It's, like I said, it's straightforward. It's just, what are you trying to do? So if you click on presentations, that's where the actual presentations are. So the Century 21 listing presentation, for example, that's the one I'll use for the example here, is already on here preloaded. You don't create anything, it's here. So yeah, we have ours from the office, right, that we make that's more local, branded to us. But all the data that's in there, the numbers and stuff, all that we actually get from their presentation here. And from what was posted on 21 Online. But let me see, you should be able to click on them. For example, if I click that, it'll give you the preview of what's on that page. So you notice the check boxes and you notice some aren't marked. So if you go through it once and you see what's on the presentation, you can pretty much decide and choose your defaults whether you want to go on there or not, because the whole presentation itself is, it's pretty lengthy, okay?
So
So,
those are sections in the presentation.
yeah, so all these are like every page that's in there, whether it's, left page, right page, whatever. So you might know, hey, I don't need this slide or whatever. So you can go in later, I'll show you how to change it from your default and switch it off, so it's not selected by default. And I'll show you later how you can change the order if you want to, if you're like, this one fits better, if it goes 2 slides before, whatever, you can do all that. But anyway, so listing presentation. Let me show you something here. So I'm gonna put a picture. Think about it. Keep in mind, all this is for example purposes, so it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to move on. So let me show you this presentation. So let's say we want to start, we want to do this one. So we'll just hit next. By default, the listing presentation here also has comparables that you can pull in later. And if I'd gone down that list, I could have deselected them. So it's just a listing presentation without comparables. But once you select it, prospect name, so I'm just going to make it out to myself. All right. So you fill out their information. Here's a CAN message, or you can change it to be whatever you want it to say, so it's more personalized to your client. And next. So here's where the comparable section pretty much starts. So it's going to say, get listings from, your MLS or whatever. It's going to give you a few options. And here's where we got stuck on last time, because it's probably going really slow, so hopefully we don't have any issues. But if you're going to do your comparables, I recommend you probably go in to FMLS and do your search there. This one has a ton of options if I do criteria search, but it's probably going to work out better anyways if you go into FMLS and look at the immediate area, like that street, that neighborhood or whatever, and check it out yourself, and then manually grab your own MLS numbers for each one of those listings around that area that you're doing the comparables for. And then just come in here into the MLS search, and all you have to do is separate them by columns. So MLS number 1, 2, so because I didn't do it ahead of time, we'll go ahead and do it now. Any questions so far? Everything's pretty just flowing. Okay. So I'm just gonna pretend these are all ones that we're searching. So I'm just gonna pull that one.
Where is the loading listings coming from?
FMLS, so there's a drop down, it'll say like FMLS, something detached or whatever attached, or FMLS matrix, something. I just take the first one on there, honestly, and then I just say next.
I mean, where do you get to that from the toolkit?
Here?
But yeah, I didn't see.
Once we get into, okay, so going online, ToolkitCMA, click presentations. First one's a listing presentation, so I selected hit next. I put in my client's information. I said get MLS listings. No, here. It says it up there, prospect, cover letter. See the chain up top? Up here?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's every step that I've taken so far. Now, these, we're listings right here. If you had done a search, if you, instead of typing your MLS numbers, if you did the zip code area or criteria, based on your criteria, for example, it would load a ton of listings. Then you would just select which ones you want. Now I manually search for these 6, so I'm going to select all 6 of them. So there, selected them all. They're pretty good. Hit next. This is where you pick what are you comparing. So it says the address, style, beds, whatever. If you don't want to compare some of these, you move on. That way. You can take them out, or you can add them back. That one I probably want, is my guess. So I'll put it on there. Okay. And you can move them up or down. Questions on this? No. All right. So this is the only part that kind of gets me. It's like a picture of their house, of like your client's house here that gets loaded, and then because it'll put it into your presentation for you. It's like, here's your house, and then here's all the comparables kind of deal. Now, I wasn't as ready as I thought I was here, so I don't have a picture of the house. But yeah, Phil's face. So we're gonna drop it in here. All right, then hit next. So it's basically just a JPEG, all right? So you guys, if you have a JPEG of the house, that's all that is right there. And then I'm just gonna say create a presentation. Now, the presentation, I'm gonna check the dates right now. They're working on getting it updated. I will say the listing presentation that's on here, the material they had was from last year's. So the numbers are off by like this one. Can't even tell. But it cites its source, so it says 2014 at the bottom of the source. It said 2015. I've already talked with them. It's already in the works to make sure it gets updated. So we won't have to do anything. Once they update it, it just gets updated when you're automatic. So now that our presentation's been created, and it'll make different view mobile, so it'll be more for tablets or phones, the type of menu interface or whatever. For our purpose, it's going to be view PDF. All right, so this would be the client. So once again, we're pretending I'm Phil here, right? So here's the client. And this is here's a message at the very beginning where I said it was a canned message. We personalize it, just drops it in there. And then all of these are the pages that were selected in the original list. Like I said, you could see what they were ahead of time by clicking on them and seeing if you wanted it or not. So some of this stuff you might find like, and they don't really need to do that. It just takes some space. I'm not even going to go over it or whatever. So you could be selected there. Yeah, so it says 2014. But like I said, the numbers pretty much that you won't be able to tell visually on a graph. We're still up there, okay? But so anyways, let me scroll down for us to actually get to the comparables. Like I said, it's pretty lengthy, so you probably want to take some off by default, anyways. And some of this stuff, and I mentioned it last time. So for example, like golden ruler. How many of y'all know what golden ruler is? 2.5. It's on here. And if you actually go through a listing presentation and you're sitting with them and you get to golden ruler, you probably don't want to be hung out to dry right there, right? So either know what it is ahead of time or take it out. By the way, it's just stats online for how properties are doing. It's a really easy tool. I can go over that later. It takes like 2 minutes so you can cover that. But that's in here. And if you don't know it, take it out. So always just make sure you know what you're doing. And I scrolled too far. So once all this stuff is done, the comparables start. That picture is supposed to be a picture of a house, so let's just pretend it's a house. So it would be their house. And here comes the analysis. So based off of what we pick, so here's the 6 comparables I've taken, and it creates a list. It'll create, and that's why I said I'd go into like FMLS and look in the pocket, because otherwise, for example, here I just pick random ones, so they're all over the map. But the map would be a lot narrower, hopefully to within a few streets or so, you know, in that area that you're doing. So the map, they can visually see, oh, this is right here, you know, and it's really close. So obviously, you can pretty much compare them. And it just gives information on all of them. You know, it's already pulled everything and dropped it in a nice little format here for you, without you having to have done anything but your research on which ones you're like, these are good. You know, you just drop them, boom. You know, the lengthiest part about this is just doing your research on like the MLS, you know, and seeing, so what are my comparables? But once you get them and drop them in here, it's done. Since we've been sitting here, it's been about 15 minutes really since we started. So it's 15 minutes plus your time on the MLS. That's all it takes to make this. That's with comparables. If you just want to listen to a presentation, you can take comparables out and you're done. It won't even take, that'll take 5 minutes for you. You know, questions so far on this? No? Take forward. You can save the presentation too if you want to do it for later, so let's close this. You can save it and then it'll show up under presentation, so it'll be a drop down. Let's go back home. So it's asking me if I want to save it. I won't, but you can't. So flyers. This is even easier than the presentations. So click flyers, and it's just going to load what templates it's got. So if you just want it straight to the point, I'll make it a flyer for whatever. You just come here without having to go into Business Builder, blah, 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 sort, blah, 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 edit, download PDF, you know. You don't have to go through all that, just come here, I'm just going to click on one. So I did by saying create flyer. You see the screen again, just hit get listings. I'm going to go back here. So MLS search, not my number.
So does that matter if it's MLS or FMLS?
Sorry, I say MLS because I just,
Okay.
MLS, we have FMLS and we have GAMLS.
Yeah.
MLS is just multiple listing services, so that applies to anyone in the nation. So when I say MLS,
Yeah, I don't even know my
it could
login,
be
and
anyone.
that's what CloudTMA uses, I think?
CloudTMA, yeah, CloudTMA is through
Okay.
MLS.
Okay.
And this one, I think you can do both in the drop down if you wanted to. Let's see if I can go. I'm not gonna mess with something when I click back, it's angry. So here's the one I'm doing a flyer on, sitting next. Up here in the headline, for example, so if you're trying to do an open house, that's where you could write, you know, open house Sunday, 1 to 3 p.m. Okay, think of that as your title. Always double check your information. Trust me, this house has more than 0 square feet because it's really freaking big. So main house photo, this one only had 2 slots of pictures, but some of them, look at the preview, you'll see how many slots it has, and some of them it'll get kind of lengthy with words, right? So you'll see that it has like a body, and if it had a body, it would show up here. It'll tell you if there's a character limit, and that's where you can type up your whatever. By default, it'll pull in public remarks, and if it's got a 300 character limit, it's going to cut them off at 300, but you can edit it, finagle it, whatever you want to do. In fact, I'll do another one after this.
Does it have an area to upload photos if you choose not to use the ones on FMLS?
Yes, yes. Right here. So at the bottom, underneath all that. Yeah, at the bottom, right there, you can upload your own pictures. If you have QR codes, you know how to work them. There's QR code creators, you can just Google, and they're those little white squares with the black squares inside them. where you can just use a QR reader or whatever, and it'll take you to wherever you want to go. If you don't know what they are, don't do it. If you know how they work, you can upload your QR code file in there. Then at the bottom, you can email it too, so that they can view it on their phone. You just do the PDF option, or create a flyer here. It's all the same. So there, basically, that's the template I wanted. There it is. Open house at some point. So there's my headline. Let me do another one that's got like remarks in it. If you save it, if you save that one, right up here, there's going to be a drop down where you can select the ones that you saved on there. Which one's that? Words. Randy, we did this one, right? Did we do a flyer on here? Oh no, you know what? That was another one. Never mind. So I'm just going to select this. See, it's got George Emerson on here. I haven't done it, but my guess is it's on there. I just picked it.
Hold on,
What's up?
please. Can you go back? Just go back. Yeah, that screen, as we're doing it before, I happened to do the get listings from MLS.
That's option.
No, I'm sorry, the top one, and I did matrix, it's
You did mention.
matrix attached or something.
Mhm.
And now I don't get that
You can,
2-question
let me see
thing.
let me see if I can.
Get a 5-question,
Hold on.
get MLS property, yeah.
Here, is what you get? Is the screen you get?
No, I get a similar looking screen, but there's 5
I'll check your screen later.
rather than 2.
Don't break it. So, chose it again. Once again, I chose a flyer, pick my listing. There's my headline. Pick some pictures for the sake of putting pictures in here. Nice. Here's where it pulls in the public remarks by default, but you can say what you want. And we'll just finish that. Right? Just making it. Okay, so if you're just looking for a really quick, easy way to make flyers, I mean, this is gonna be a lot faster than the business builder route. If this gets it done for you, boom, straightforward. Okay? You can't do as much, but it doesn't let you mess up. Okay? Questions? Flyers? Questions on any of this? No? Well, almost.
I have a
Yeah.
quick question. There was some class last year about doing flyers, and there was something about the logo.
Yeah, I remember
Name
that.
and number of broker must be equal to or greater than the size, font, boldness, and number of times of the agent's info.
Mhm.
And so is there a way to edit
Nope, it's already pretty much built
for
in.
GREC? So
Right.
would we get, I mean, are they,
No, I don't think I see any problems, not with this one in particular. It's all, basically all our information has to be, as I understand it, at least the same size as your stuff, if not bigger,
okay,
right? So they all have to at least be the same size.
so name and number of broker, that counts up there, we're good.
It should be, yeah. Because our information seems all right.
Okay.
Now, I'm just a tech, I have no idea, but that's what I understand. You can always ask Terry and see if there's anything wrong with it. And hopefully there's not, because there's not much we can do to test
I
it.
think that was on the cloud CMA.
No, but I know what you're talking about, yeah. I
It was
remember
last
something on the
year,
cloud scan
Okay.
there.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna show you guys one more thing real quick. which is just basically your preferences. Should be. And so here you can change, I mean, you just read the options and know what they are. I'm looking for change document. So for example, here's a listing presentation. So if I already know what I want to change, so for example, JD Power Board, if you don't want them at all in there, you see how it has the asterisk? That means it's in there by default. I just select it, hit set default, and now it's no longer default. So, okay. And if you want to move it up or down, you just select it and move it up or down. So that's how you go in and then just kind of customize it. So like I said, it's kind of lengthy. So you might want to come here and take out the ones you know you don't want, shorten it down, and then save it. And then if you want them later, you can always, for like a one-time use, you just select them manually when you go back into the listing presentation, for example. Now there's other, CMA only, there you go. Right there for the comparables problem. I just haven't clicked it yet. So there's one that's just CMA only presentation. Yep, and that'll be your comparables if you don't want to do a whole. So this is included in the listing presentation. Want to see a listing presentation, you can just deselect basically all of these up there and get them out so you only have a listing presentation. There on the side, whatever, it's up to you. But this doesn't really let you mess up. Okay, you just go step by step. The only manual work you really need to do is just look at your listings. Questions on any of them? That's it. That's it, we're done. Everyone survived. Now you can check your.
I found out actually choosing that the matrix attached is what gives you different sets of buttons. That's like, I selected the top one, whatever it's called, and I got back to the twos.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
So you can always play it safe by just leaving the default and then just drop it in your own. So pretty good. Like I said, the other ones offer different things. Century 21 offering this to all their agents really good, simply because not everyone has an MLS that offers a CMA. So you guys are really lucky that MLS does do that as well. But not everyone's MLS does that. But even then, Cloud CMA and this are different. Cloud CMA does just straight up CMAs. Doesn't have all the presentations built into it. You know, they function very similar, but they just offer different things. But yeah, no, we're all done if you guys don't have any questions. And I don't really have a lot of good tips though.
Oh, that's fine.
To coerce you guys to come by.
Yeah, me too, that's the only reason I'm here.
I do love it.
All right, and last time we went,